on, guys? I want this video to kind of serve two purposes. The first purpose is obviously putting some hints out there for these companies to try to get the licenses to some of these movies to give what I think they deserve, which is a nice boutique label release. Something with some really nice art, some really nice presentations, great special features, the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. And the second purpose I want this video to serve is maybe some of these titles are something that you have not seen before, and that's okay, because believe me, God knows I still have 1,000 movies I need to see that I probably should have seen by now, but some of these I think are hidden gems. So without further ado, here are titles that I think deserve the boutique label treatment. And the first one, some of these are going to be fairly obvious and some of these are not. The first one is obviously Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows. This is a great sequel. I sing the praises of Blair Witch 2 as often as I can. I love the fact that they were like, no, we're not going to do the first movie again. We can't. So I think they made a very stylish, gothic kind of fun post-Scream horror movie. And I think Blair Witch 2 came out in 2000, 2001. But this release is really cool, the DVD plus CD. If you take the movie and you flip it over and put it in your disc drive on your car or whatever, it plays the soundtrack. And what's cool about this release is, besides the fact that the disc is falling out, it has the receipt from back in the day where somebody bought this at a pawn shop. So, yeah. And then I bought it for $4 at a used DVD store. But Blair Witch 2 is a great movie. I think it deserves the treatment to get its, to quite frankly, get itself a new audience. Because the beautiful thing about the physical media people, especially horror physical media people, is they will buy something that they haven't seen. It's actually really, it's actually a good thing. It's not a joke. Like, I'm not saying that to be like, oh, we'll buy anything. But it is actually cool that, like, we will buy movies and nice releases because we trust the company sometimes. Like, oh, if Scream Factory gave Blair Witch 2 a nice release, I think a lot of people would be buying that movie and be seeing it for the first time. And that's cool. So, yeah. Another movie, this is a really hidden gem. If you guys are into the Paranormal Activity films, they're, of course, were some rip-off movies, and the best one I ever saw was a movie called Paranormal Entity. This, I guess it's a Paranormal Activity rip-off, more or less. It came out in 2010, so it was done right after the first movie came out. This was a scary movie. I actually enjoyed it a lot, and I think if a company could give it a nice release, boutique label, bring it to an audience, and get a lot more fans for this. I'm not somebody that typically just tries to search out rip-off films. I watched this on Netflix right when it came out, around 2009 or 10, or 2010 or 11 rather, and I was just shocked at how good I thought this was. It's actually a pretty original premise, and it was really suspenseful, so I enjoyed it a lot. I think this getting a nice boutique release would really bring it to an audience. But if not, go search this out. It's a good movie. It's found footage, obviously. That goes without saying, because I'm telling you, it's a Paranormal Activity ripoff. The next one kind of goes for the franchise, but I gave you my personal favorite entry. These movies deserve high restorations as well. And of course, when I talk about boutique releases, that's one of the big things I'm referencing. I'm talking about the Hatchet films, but my favorite is Hatchet 2. This is such a good Hatchet film. I think this is the best one. I really do. I love Tony Todd in here is so funny. The chicken and the biscuits and the gravy song is hysterical. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please to God, go watch this. Tom Holland's in here. Danielle Harris is in here. And her eyebrow is like this the whole movie. Danielle, what was going on with your eyebrow in that movie? The whole time you're doing The Rock. I love you, Danielle. But my point, you'll see it when you watch it. But this is the best Hatchet movie. I think these movies deserve to get some kind of really nice treatment. Maybe Scream Factory should do a box set. Like an actual box set. Don't release them separately. Put them in a box. Make the box, then put the movies in the box. Scream Factory. I think we deserve that. But I would love 4K scans of these movies. I think that would be incredible. Yeah. This one came out in 2010. This is such a good movie. If you haven't seen Hatchet 2. I think it's the best one. I think it's easily the best one. Next up, this is a great movie from 1988. It's kind of lost on physical media, guys. Just by the name of the movie and cover art of this alone, you will agree with me. I'm talking about Cheerleader Camp. I love Cheerleader Camp. This is an Anchor Bay DVD, and this is the last of it. It doesn't have any sort of nice release. It doesn't have a nice Blu-ray. Doesn't have a Blu-ray as far as I know, much less a boutique label release. And I think it really deserves it. Very fun movie. Very fun late 80s slasher film. Go out of your way to see this. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on Tubi. You know how Tubi just manages to have everything on there. But great movie. Somebody, please get the rights to Cheerleader Camp. This wasn't in my list, but of course Blood Beach is the highest priority. Everybody wants that. This is a random pick, but the people that have seen this movie, I think my camera's a little crooked. The people that have seen this movie will tell you how badass it is. I'm talking about Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys. I don't know what the hell I was fixing to say. Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys was when Charles Band was in financial ruins in the early 2000s, so he licensed out his characters for Sci-Fi to make a TV movie with Corey Feldman in it, where Corey makes this weird voice the whole time. Corey talks like this the entire movie. But it is, look at him. There he is right there. This movie is hell on earth, and I love every second of it. Charles Band refuses to acknowledge or talk about this movie, but the gang's all there. You got Jack, Tara Teddy, Baby Oopsie. You've got the puppets. It's literally a battle movie with the Puppet Masters and Demonic Toys. This movie deserves a great treatment. I don't care. Bring it to an audience, Vinegar Syndrome. I should be assigning labels with each release, right? Vinegar Syndrome, Vinegar Syndrome, Vinegar Syndrome, all day long. Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys. Next up, guys, I'm going to give this one to Second Sight Films because I think they would do it. But for America, because I'm in Louisiana, I'll go with Scream Factory on this one. Night of the Demons. No, the remake. I'm not talking about the original. I'm talking about the remake, which I love just as much as the original. Yeah, does that sound nuts to you? Well, guess what? This one has Edward Furlong in it. This one is super fun. The Night of the Demons remake is more fun than you can shake a stick at. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and then you'll agree with me. I love this movie, though. Just look at the back. Look at the back. Look at this. This movie is great. This was 2009. This was peak Civilization right here. Furlong is a madman in this movie. I love the Night of the Demons remake. Definitely did not garner the level of... It did not scale the heights of getting as far as like My Bloody Valentine or Friday the 13th or Halloween, but Night of the Demons the remake is awesome. It needs a nice treatment. Deserves a nice treatment. So, speaking of, I actually have this right here. Now, it has a Blu-ray release, but that's why I'm titling this Horror Movies That Need a Boutique Label Release, because I think these movies deserve that extra mile. Let's restore it to an even higher level. Let's get new interviews. Let's really bring this to the collector's world. And the My Bloody Valentine remake, I have been vocal about it. It's one of my favorite remakes ever. I think it's better than the original, which I love the original. I love the original. For those in the back, I'm saying I love the original because I do. But the remake is super fun. I guarantee somebody has watched this video or once before, and they roll my eyes. But then they're like, let me just see what this bastard's talking about. Let me watch this remake. Somebody out there has got to have seen the remake because of me talking about it so much and been like, okay, it is good. But that's got Scream Factory written all over it. If they can do that, I would love that. Next up, guys, I think this one needs a really nice boutique release. And I'm thinking 4K. I'm thinking 4K from Scream Factory. I'm thinking 7. I'm thinking 7, guys. I think 7 is a movie that... it's funny because in the Laserdisc era, they did really nice releases for 7. But I feel like 7 hasn't gotten that really nice release. Maybe Arrow could do this one. I know it deserves it. I think this movie is one of the best from the decade, the 90s. I'd love for 7 to get that big push and get a really nice 4K release. I think it's time. I think Scream Factory or Arrow should do 7. That'd be great. Next up, guys, let's talk about this remake. I think this deserves a great 4K release. I think this could be Scream Factory. I'm talking about Maniac with Elijah Wood. I think Maniac, another one that deserves it. Great remake. Some people, probably a number of people, prefer this over the original. I in fact don't, but it's super close. I love Joe Spinell's take on a Maniac in the original, but Elijah Wood does a great job. It's a different flavor, which makes this a great remake because it stands on its own 2 feet and it does something different, which I love. But I think he was so dedicated to this movie with Elijah Wood. There's scenes where you just see the killer's hands, and Elijah didn't have to be on set for all that, but he was so into making the movie work and doing a great job as well as he could that I think he actually did all the hand stuff, which is, I commend him on that. I like Elijah Wood a lot. I think he's a great actor, and I have a lot of respect for him. So Maniac, this deserves a really nice release. We should get it. Next up, I've been screaming about this one for a while. Dee Snider's Strangeland desperately deserves a really nice release. I love this movie. Dee Snider plays Captain Howdy, an online predator who lures people to meet him. This was when chat rooms were becoming a big thing. Look at him. Big Twisted Sister fan, so my dad loved this movie. But yeah, Captain Howdy, Strangeland. This is great soundtrack too, which is probably why this movie is kind of lost on physical media. I think you can still get the DVD, but I don't know if they need to do a Blu-ray. They need to do a nice release with Dee Snider talking, recollecting on the film all these years later. I'm sure he would. They talked about doing a sequel, but it never happened. But this is a really great, fun movie. I love Strangeland. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But please, Scream Factory, please make this happen. We need Strangeland on Blu-ray. This feels like it's a given, especially with Thanksgiving coming out and stuff, but Hostel probably be a good one to get a nice collector's edition release of. 4K, why not? I don't know who would put this one out. It's a toss-up between, I guess Scream Factory, but they may not be into this kind of movie, like the super, super gory stuff. I don't know. But, I think we could get some really nice releases of this Hostel, so we need it. I think it would be nice to get a nice collector's edition Blu-ray or 4K of Hostel. Again, it's not about... Again, there's videos called boutique releases, not Blu-ray, because like a lot of these movies have Blu-ray releases, but that's not good enough. We need a nice collector's edition release. This next one, guys... let me see what I have right here. Okay, so this next one, guys, this is one of the best movies you've never seen. And I don't mean everybody's never seen this, but I'm sure a lot of people watching this video will be like, I haven't even heard of that. It's one of my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis movies. It's a really great, dark, psychological thriller. This is a movie called Mother's Boys. I'm just waiting for this. Who put this out? Maybe Vestron Video could do this. No, this is Dimension. Miramax. Varas Sarabond. Oh, they did the soundtrack. This is such a dark, psychological thriller. Jamie Lee Curtis plays a psycho in this movie. A psycho. This movie's intense. This is like The Good Son, except instead of the son being that way, the mama is that way. Great movie. Incredible movie. I can't put it over enough. I love this movie. It needs a nice, gorgeous, great release. You want to know how good it is? Jamie Lee doesn't really ever talk about it because it's that intense. She doesn't talk about it. I love this movie. Somebody please do a nice release of Mother's Boys. Please. And it's a gorgeous movie too. I think it was filmed in Cali and it's on location in Cali. The movie, the scenery, the houses, everything is beautiful in the movie. Next up, we desperately need that collector's edition of Dead Alive. There was a Blu-ray, but again, super limited. People keep saying this is in the works. I believe it. But where is it? Where the hell is it? We need it. I mean, we need this on 4K like we need... I don't know. Air. Okay? This movie's incredible. I love it. I kick ass for the Lord. This is kind of a vanity pick because this wouldn't make sense for just this one to get this kind of release. But I can't help it. I love it. I want a really nice release of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. I want a really nice 4K release of this. Collector's Edition Blu-ray release with a nice booklet. You know, all the bells and whistles, some newly commissioned art, all that kind of. I think this one is as good as the remake, if not a little bit better. I prefer the beginning over 2003. I prefer this one over 2003. I love the color of this movie. I love the characters more in this movie. Something about the beginning to me just works. It works more for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think this one deserves some kind of really nice release. Again, there is Blu-ray releases and stuff, but you don't get... we need a boutique label release of this movie. Maybe they could do something with the remake and that, which would be nice. And the last one, guys, this movie needs a collector's edition bad with a lot of great interviews and upscaling. Last Shift. This is a great little movie. From Magnet is the home video company. They have a Blu-ray of this, which I bought the Blu-ray. But again, we need a nice collector's edition of this movie. Last Shift is one of my favorites from this era. It's a great movie about this woman who is a security guard at this hospital, where it's the last night that it's operating, even though it's out of business. So she's in here by herself, and a lot of crazy stuff starts happening. I mean, look at that. Look at that image. Great movie. Oh, look at this. If you open it up, it kind of makes the face. Isn't that creepy? Great movie, though. And apparently they're remaking this movie right now or something. I remember reading something about that. But, guys, those are some movies that I think need boutique label releases, a.k.a. collector's releases. I don't know what the title of this video is. I'll figure it out. But those are movies that I really like that I think are just lost on physical media or needed. And there's other stuff I could do, like movies that are legitimately lost on physical media, which I may do a video about that next, like Pinocchio's Revenge and movies like Rumpelstiltskin. But there are also movies that, you know, just deserve more, which is something I really wanted to talk about today. So there you go, guys. If there's any other titles you can think of, drop it in the comments below. You never know who's watching this video. You never know who's reading the comments. It doesn't hurt to add your thoughts, guys. So add it down below. This is your old pal CHH. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.